Hi everyone, this is Mark Dearlove from the Learning Stack. We've all dealt with that blank page problem, the manual slog of trying to turn raw notes or a stack of PDFs into an actual engaging course. It's a massive creative hurdle that eats up time, but what if you had a personal assistant to handle that heavy lifting for you? And today we're exploring Asana's new edit mode. It's an integrated AI agent that helps you draft, refine, and polish your content without ever leaving your workflow. The real power here is that it acts as a co-creator, whether you have just a rough outline or finished PDF that you want to transform into a full course, edit mode has your back. It handles the heavy lifting, those initial iterations, so that you can maintain total control over the design while saving hours of time. Let's get started with a walkthrough and I can show you how to find it and put it to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new course. I'm going to jump into create new. I'm going to create a new course. And the change here is that previously, we would just pick one of these card types and we could generate from a file with limited instructions. On this new version, now what we're able to do is to be much more in depth with our request. I'm going to use this prompt, which is based on that post on LinkedIn. So basically to enable people to move from being an instructional designer to performance engineer from a mindset perspective. There's a lot of information in here. It's literally a copy paste of that post with some instructions up front. I'm going to submit this. The response is, I'll help you create a course that helps instructional designers rebrand themselves as performance engineers. Perfect. It's creating a structure for me right now, and you can see it's working, creating the title card. So it's going to go through this process of title card, introduction, core content, practical application, and assessment at this point. So I haven't given any instructions on how many cards I want, what format I want them to be in. I've literally just given it the task of creating this course. But what we can do with this new iteration of the Asana course creation is we can actually give it more instructions that enable it to be much more refined. You can see the steps that it's gone through, and I've left it to do its thing for a few minutes, creating the title card and adding an introduction about the branding problem, adding content about what performance engineers do, and so on. Eventually it comes back and says, I've created a complete course based on the LinkedIn post that helps instructional designers rebrand themselves. So we have a title card, we have the branding problem, what do you actually do, and a whole bunch of other things in here. There's a knowledge check in there, there's an activity in there. So we can actually just accept this as is, probably not a good idea, or we can view the current state before accepting these changes. So I'm going to hit view. And what we'll see is that structure that it just told us about. And I can click through this to see exactly what it's done. So we've got a text page on the branding problem. What do you actually do? We've got some flip cards in there, so we can click those and they'll flip over for us. A couple more text cards. I can click through these by the looks of it to say, yes, I've completed that, start positioning myself as a consultant. We have a reflection card. So in Asana, a reflection card is basically a free text card that says, asks you a question and gets the person going through the learning to respond to that. And then we have a knowledge check at the end here. So I have 3 questions with some content in there. Great. I'm going to accept these as is. Obviously, I could go back and tweak it a little bit if I wanted to. In this case, I'm going to accept all. Now, this isn't a one-shot process. A lot of tools that I've come across recently are helping you with your authoring. It's a one-shot process. Here's a PDF or here's some text. Here's my requirements. Build the course, and it builds the course. That's it. We go, okay, great. I've got the course. Now I have to do all the manual work on top of that. And what this tool allows us to do is tweak it along the way. So I can now iterate my course, and the assistant, the agent, is giving me a set of potential things that I can do. So says I might want to add images, probably. I want to add key takeaways. That's probably a good idea as well. Do I want to create a downloadable resource? Add real world examples, change the course title. So I'm going to say, I think we should add some more real world examples of performance engineering language. I think that will be helpful. So I'm going to give it a minute or so to do that. Okay, so added a comprehensive card with real world examples across 5 different business functions for different areas of my business. Perfect. It's given me some more suggestions as well. So let's go and look at what it added. So I'm going to hit view again. And it's showing me now the real world examples by function. So we can see the structure. There's an extra card in there and I can click on that and I'll see the real world examples by function. So I've got an example for sales enablement. I've got an example for customer services. I've got an example for onboarding. safety and compliance, leadership development. So yeah, quite interesting. The learning focused mindset, developer sales training program covering X, Y, and Z. The performance focused mindset, diagnose a 31% drop off in the proposal stage and implement. It seems to have done a pretty good job there, so I will accept that change. So what else do I want to do? I think a final summary card with key takeaways will be good. So I'm going to add that. We now have the summary card. Let's go and take a look at that. So the summary, here's what it means for your career, some next steps in there. Nice. Again, I'm not going to go into the details of that. So I'm going to accept that and see what other suggestions it has for me. Well, I don't think it's very visually engaging at the moment, so let's add some images to the course. You see, it's now going through adding the images, figuring out where it can add them, finding the images, and then adding them into each of those cards. Okay, so the professional relevant images to make the course more engaging. It's given me examples. Let me go and take a look at what it's done. Some people in a room, branding problem. Not sure that's particularly relevant. It looks like house plans. What do you do? Okay, maybe. They're all a bit same, but you can see it's done those. So I'm going to accept all at this point, but what I will do is ask you to find a different image for you're not an instructional designer, you're a performance engineer. So rather than using the suggestions here, I'm going to say I want to change the image. So searching for performance-related images, updating the title card background images. Let's see what we got now. Don't like that. So I've discarded that, and it's said we can search for other images. What do I want to do? So let's go for growth charts or upward trends. Let's use the wooden blocks. Okay, so once again, I can take a look. It looks a little bit better. I'm going to accept that one. Now, obviously, the text is not ideal. I can change that manually still. I'm still in editor mode, so I can go and change that to black text. That looks a little bit better. What else might I want to do? Let's add a poll. So now I've got a poll in there, a simple question. What's your biggest rebranding challenge? And some answers that I can pick from. That looks good. Not sure about the colors, but we don't need to go through everything right now. This is an interesting one. So obviously we added in some examples, some real world examples. It's asking me if I want to add question to the assessment about those examples. Probably a good idea. We added more content, we added more thought process. Let's add in an additional question on that. Okay, great. I'm just going to accept that at this point. I'm not going to go and check it. Let's review the complete course structure at this point. It's going to go through, review the course structure, give me some feedback. What does it do? Perfect. I've got 11 cards. It's giving me some strengths. It guides us through. Okay. Still got some options at this point. Obviously, I can stop whenever I like. Let's add a welcome message or introduction card before the title. See what we get from that. Okay, just give me a bit of an insight into what we're going to do. And at this point, I think we're done. One of the challenges that I have with this is I can't see any history, so I don't know what stages I went through, what buttons I clicked on, what questions were asked at the start. There's no history in here at all. So it's worthwhile thinking about your starting point. I've already got that in another document. And kind of your ending point. What have I done, or what have I ended up with after I've gone through the process? So before you close the agent, this is something I would recommend you do. I've asked for a summary of everything that we did along the way. So I've said I want the starting prompt and every step along the way, because I'm going to copy this to another tool. One of the limitations in this tool is I don't have any history. So I want to record the history. So you can see I went through this process. It's a little hack that I've found works quite well. I've now got all of that information, and I can copy all of that out. So I'm just going to go and copy paste all the way back up. At this point, I can go and just check on everything. I'm going to go and have a look through my course. That's good. That's good. It's not perfect, I know, but it's good enough for now. So at this point, I'm ready to release this as a course, and away we go. So hopefully that's been useful. A quick glance at the Asana edit mode, how you can go through the process to create a course, and what steps you can do to tweak that along the way. So Asana edit mode, done. Let me know if you've got any questions in the comments. Like this video if you found it useful. Don't forget to subscribe for future learning technology videos, and I'll see you in the next video.